I have some kind words sent in from somebody that knows the Joydrop history more than anyone. So this is your BFF, Tony Rabalao, now drumming with Bedouin Soundclash, who's one of Canada's biggest bands, which is exciting. I saw them. They came and played Ottawa. They headlined the Dragon Boat Festival a few months ago. So I got to hang out with
Mhm.
Tony and get some pics and say hi. And man, those guys are awesome. So here's what Tony has to say. He says, the day Tara Slone walked into our rehearsal room for a Joydrop audition 27 years ago, I
Oh
knew
my
our
God.
lives were going to change. We specifically stated in our Now magazine ad that we were looking for a rock goddess to join our band. Not because we had unrealistic expectations, but we were hoping it would weed out those who were easily intimidated. That's pretty smart. Good job, Tony. Tara walked in with confidence, with passion, with enthusiasm. Everything fell into place after that. She is one of my dearest friends, and I've watched her go through life's up and downs head first with those very qualities and a fearlessness that is so inspiring. She's a hell of a front woman, smart, wise, compassionate, fearless, insightful. And all the qualities I mentioned above balance and express themselves beautifully in her love of music, hockey, the people around her, and in life in general. I love you, Sloan, and consider
Hmm.
myself so fortunate to have you, a rock goddess indeed, in my life. So that's from Tony.
Well, I absolutely feel the same. Yeah, I feel blessed to know him.
And does it feel like 27 years? You kind of freaked out when I said that.
I mean, it's just, yeah, it's such a big number. I mean, it does and it doesn't, like so many lifetimes have passed since that day. And I remember that day really, really well. Um, but it's yeah, it goes by in the blink of an eye as well. So, I mean, when you make friendships like that, it doesn't matter how long it's been since you've seen each other, like you'll always just pick up where you left off. So, but yes, there's a lot in between 27 years ago at Cherry Beach Studios in Toronto and now for sure.
And do you remember the moment that you saw that ad?
Yeah, because I had answered a couple of other ones and they were just kind of weird. Like people would give me a tape of their music and I'd be like, no, I don't think that's for me. Um, I remember, and this like it's so totally stereotyped, but I expected Tony to be Italian. Excuse me.
Tony.
Yeah, I thought anyway. I had no idea who I was answering, but I certainly, yeah, I felt a little cheeky, like, okay, I like that ad, Rock Goddess. Like, okay, I think I could be that. So I felt up to the task.
So you called, you set up an audition or you set up to jam and meet them
Mhm.
and what happens?
So I remember thinking, and this was probably my way of like guarding myself in case it didn't work out. I remember thinking, well, they're auditioning me, but I'm auditioning them too, which is true because I didn't even know anything about them or their music or what it was going to be like. But yeah, I walked into such a pro setup. The rehearsal room was completely decked out, and they were very ready for me. It wasn't like let's jam and see what happens. It was I it was like let us play you some songs, and then why don't you try to sing this? So they played a few songs, and then they played Beautiful, and I was like, oh, okay, this band. And I think they expressed kind of what they felt like their path was going to be, which I had never contemplated. Like
They
we
had a
want to do
vision for
this.
the future.
Absolutely, we want to rehearse our butts off, play some live shows. We have a manager, we have a producer lined up who's going to help us make a demo, and we're going to get a record deal. I was like, okay, wow, all right. But for me, it was the music, and it was Tony, Tom, Thomas, and then Tara. I just thought, well, it's all very meant to be.
And was it just the one audition and you got the gig? Did it take more than that?
My recollection is that was it. I feel like we maybe met up one more time, but I reached out very quickly. I knew I wanted to join that band. I didn't have to think about it. So I remember they're like, take your time. I think it was around Christmas maybe. And they're like, take your time. I'm like, no, I know.